The war in the Pacific ended more than 6 decades ago, but in one way at least, its deadly legacy lives on. Every year in Japan, the military disposes of more than 40 tonnes of unexploded bombs, leftovers from a brutal conflict that began at Pearl Harbor and ended in Nagasaki and Hiroshima. These volatile munitions are often unearthed by construction crews, divers and even children, and it's led to deaths and serious injuries. The situation is worse on the southern island of Okinawa, where it's estimated it could take maybe another 100 years to clear the island of unexploded bombs. North Asia correspondent Mark Willesee reports from Okinawa.
Tokyo, 20,000 feet below. The planes cruise steadily, making sure of military objectives, making absolutely certain that every ton of high explosive will count. Down goes a heavy pattern of bombs.
It was the most destructive conventional bombing raid in history. In the early hours of the 10th of March 1945, wave after wave of American B-29s dropped hundreds of tons of incendiary bombs on Tokyo. The resulting firestorm would kill 100,000 people, leave 1 million homeless and raze a quarter of the city.
I woke up with my father screaming, but it was too late. There was a sea of fire in every direction. I ran for my life. One bomb skimmed over my shoulder. The fire had consumed the man in front of me who was carrying his child.
The wind will change. Nippon will be engulfed. Fires of vengeance will consume the tawdry fabric of Japan's new order.
As a 12-year-old, Katsumoto Sayatome was lucky to survive the bombing raids on Tokyo. The horror of that night was seared into his consciousness, so as an adult he built a museum to commemorate the firebombing. But for Mr. Sayatome, the bombs that fell on Tokyo 64 years ago are not fading memories, because they still stalk the Japanese people.
Just a couple of years ago they found an unexploded 1-ton bomb nearby. If it had exploded, it would have caused massive damage. Still, the bombs are coming out of the ground. Our government should be doing more to make us safe.
Every few weeks or so, unexploded World War II bombs are unearthed around Japan. Rusted and often caked in dirt, they look relatively harmless, but they're not. In the last few decades, 6 people have been killed and nearly 60 badly injured by old bombs. The driver of this bulldozer was blinded and badly burnt when he accidentally struck a 250-kilogram shell. These are the men trained to defuse and disable these deadly relics. Lieutenant Yoshiyuki Nakahara is a 20-year veteran, having helped defuse 1,500 bombs on the southern island of Okinawa. In this line of work, you need a clear head and a steady hand.
Today we have to defuse 2 US World War II 50-kilogram bombs. Each has about 25 kilograms of explosives inside and 2 fuses. The worst-case scenario is they could explode at any moment.
American 10th Army troops on Okinawa make another big drive towards the island's capital of Naha. The defences and the enemy has to be ferreted out one at a time.
Okinawa was the scene of some of the bloodiest fighting of the Pacific War. More than 150,000 Japanese soldiers and civilians were killed, and the United States suffered 50,000 casualties. The 82-day battle was known as the Storm of Steel, and the island remains littered with unexploded ordnance.
We believe there's about 2,300 tonnes of unexploded bombs lying around Okinawa. At the pace we're going, it will take about 80 years to dispose of them all. And every year we have to evacuate 15,000 people around the island while we deal with these bombs.
Nobuku Arakawa has dodged bombs before, and today the 97-year-old is being evacuated from her home while the army does its work across the road.
I was on the main island of Japan during the war, so I had a difficult time of it. Every day I was chased around by bombs, so I hope they will remove these bombs quickly so we can all sleep easy.
This is one of the bombs that was discovered when the construction crews came through to build this road. It's a 50-kilogram United States bomb that was dropped from the air. It's been basically sitting here undisturbed for 6.5 decades until the bulldozers came along. The other bomb is deep down this shaft in a pool of mud. These officers must very delicately turn the fuse, a few millimetres at a time. It makes the work slow and dangerous, especially if you're a rookie working on your first live bomb.
I felt nervous today. I actually had to turn the fuse, so I was tense the whole time.
But often, after 6 decades buried in the earth, the cap over the fuse is rusted tight. At this training camp north of Tokyo, bomb squad rookies are taught how to defuse a stubborn shell.
Keep. Take up.
In this exercise, the cap has to be blasted loose, so the bomb squad could get to the fuse.
I always feel that my next bomb could be my last, so I have to be calm. If I'm not, there'll be nothing left of me if the bomb goes off.
Back on Okinawa, the 2 50-kilogram bombs have been defused. Traffic is back to normal, and it's off to the Army's secret storage site. Hundreds of old Navy shells, grenades and Air Force bombs are stored here, waiting to be safely blown up. But for every one of these, there are hundreds more slowly rusting just beneath the surface.
People live in places where they will die if these bombs explode. The government simply doesn't understand. So for us, the war is not over yet. It is still going on.